In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, breakthroughs for the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and Singapore. In Vietnam, textiles export to the United States remains strong despite market uncertainty. In our world news, U.S. add dozens of entities to export restriction list.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. Prime Minister Phie chaired a solemn welcoming ceremony on Wednesday morning at the Presidential Palace for Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong on an official visit to Vietnam. Prime Minister Phie emphasized that the visit was a great significance, being the first high-level delegation exchange after the two countries had established a comprehensive strategic partnership. The Singaporean Prime Minister emphasized that Vietnam, being Singapore's first comprehensive strategic partner in ASEAN, reflects the two countries' trust, closeness, and aspirations. To date, Singapore has maintained its positions as the world's second-largest investor in Vietnam. Looking ahead, the Prime Ministers agree on decisive and timely measures to facilitate a breakthrough for the comprehensive strategic partnership. They also pledged to continue effectively promoting the 5 pillars of the agreement on connecting the two economies and backed 6 proposals to make Vietnam-Singapore cooperation a typical example in the region. It is necessary to amend tax policy and apply a common 10% tax rate to ensure fairness and support press development in the digital age. This is the outstanding conclusion deputies offered when commenting on the draft law on corporate income tax amended Wednesday morning. This will support press agencies in overcoming financial difficulties, maintaining operation, and ensuring the quality of information content. The proposal is intended to encourage the press to develop sustainably, helping agencies have more resources to invest in content, especially technology. It also aims to improve competitiveness with cross-border platforms, contributing to protecting the mainstream press. The Ministry of Finance has proposed extending the 2% VAT reductions on essential goods and services, including gasoline, washing machines, and microwave ovens. The proposed policy will apply from July this year through the end of 2026. This tax break has been highly effective in recent years, boosting consumer demand, supporting citizens and businesses, and driving production and business activity.
Ming, a regular shopper, believes the 2% VAT reduction, while not large per item, adds up when applied to multiple products.
If I spend $40 a week at the supermarket, that's a lot of savings by the end of the month. If I can save like this, I'd like to shop even more.
Saving a 2% on the cost of goods allows us and our suppliers to reinvest in essential products, expand our range, and diversify our inventory.
With purchasing power slowing down due to various external challenges, continuing the 2% VAT reduction across more goods for a longer period is expected to increase overall demand and control inflation.
Businesses can reduce fixed costs due to the VAT cut, which lowers prices for consumers. The reduction in input costs makes companies more competitive.
A further reduction in VAT is a key policy for consumers, especially for those in remote and disadvantaged areas, motivating them to spend more.
According to the Ministry of Finance, the VAT reduction is projected to reduce state revenue by approximately $4.76 billion in the last half of 2025 and next year. The ministry plans to intensify tax administrative reforms and accelerate digital transformation.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade is focusing on ensuring the proper origins of goods and strategies to mitigate risks for the entire sector, especially as global trade conditions continue to shift. In the textiles industry, businesses report that export orders to the United States are secured through the second quarter of this year. However, caution is advised when selecting materials and signing contracts in this unpredictable environment.
A major player in the shirt and suit export market, this company confirms that its orders to the U.S. are locked in through June this year.
We still have plenty of orders and haven't received any negative news from the U.S. about Vietnamese textiles. However, orders are coming in closer to their due dates. We're also pushing new designs to explore other markets.
Meanwhile, a fabric supplier reports that while exports to the U.S. do not directly impact them, their clients who convert the fabrics into finished goods for export are showing caution, placing orders while closely monitoring the fluctuations in tariffs.
We don't have direct difficulties because we produce fabrics and we are selling majority of our fabrics in Vietnam and are the garment factories that ship directly to the United States, because the final product is shipped there.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade has noted that the time required for customs clearance of goods entering the U.S. has doubled. This is because U.S. Customs now checks not only the origin of the finished products, but also the materials used to make them.
We're working closely with the U.S. to enhance inspection and monitoring efforts to prevent and combat origin fraud. We're also reviewing the delegation of care of certification to adjust the system accordingly.
Vietnam's textile export value to the U.S. reached nearly $2.46 billion in the first 2 months of 2025. With the slowing of orders from the U.S., the largest market, businesses are actively seeking new partners in Canada, New Zealand, and the Middle East to meet their $48 billion export target for the year.
This year, the Vietnamese government has set an ambitious target of achieving over 8% economic growth and aiming for even higher numbers in the coming years. For the agriculture sector, the goal is to surpass $70 billion in export revenue. In the Mekong Delta, the country's largest agricultural hub, banks are rolling out various strategies to help farmers and businesses access funding to boost production and improve efficiency.
Thanks to a funding package, Bing's company can purchase rice directly from farmers during peak harvest times without hesitation.
With timely access to capital, we don't have to worry about buying and selling immediately. We can store the rice during the peak harvest season.
By early March, total loans in the Mekong Delta had reached more than $46.88 billion, up 0.53% compared to the end of 2024. However, high interest rates and complex loan procedures have posed challenges. In response, the State Bank of Vietnam has implemented a series of measures to address these issues.
We've instructed our branches to ensure strict control over lending, lower interest rates, and ensure smooth credit flow. At the same time, businesses must have clearer, more effective business plans, particularly regarding product output.
Thanks to the government's decisive leadership and flexible measures from the banking system, farmers and businesses have been able to access much-needed capital. This has helped drive more efficient production and business operations.
Vietnam's steady economic growth in the first quarter of 2025 has enabled ample employment opportunities, particularly in technology, manufacturing, and finance. Manpower Group's latest survey of 10,000 employers in 7 countries and territories indicates that employment demands in the second quarter of the year climbed by 30% year-on-year. During the same period, labor demands rose by 38% among industrial and material sectors, with a significant surge in manufacturing, followed by finance, real estate, consumer goods, and technology. And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, March 26th. Coming up next on VTV News, measles vaccination campaign for children launched. And Phie launches Visit Vietnam Year 2025. Many localities have launched a measles vaccination campaign for children in the face of dynamic epidemic development. In Da Nang, the Ministry of Health has provided the city with more than 27,600 vaccine doses, which will be administered to more than 52,100 children aged 6 months to 10 years. Mass vaccination begins on Thursday at primary and preschool schools. Da Nang City has detected 2,650 suspected measles cases, of which 648 tested positive. In Phie, the Ministry of Health has provided 4,400 doses of measles vaccine and 17,200 doses of measles rubella vaccine for children. The vaccination campaign will last until March 31st. In the first quarter of 2025, tourism in the two largest cities in the country recorded encouraging positive signals. Hanoi welcomed about 7.3 million visitors, up nearly 9% over the same period. Meanwhile, Ho Chi Minh City attracted more than 10 million visitors. Ho Chi Minh City total tourism revenue reached more than $2.4 billion, up 27% over the same period. Hanoi also reached nearly $1.2 billion. Both cities are promoting the development of new products, from heritage experience tours and craft village tourism in Hanoi to expanding standard destinations and travel businesses in Ho Chi Minh City, contributing to affirming its role as the leading tourism center in the country. The Visit Vietnam Year 2025 opening ceremony took place in Hue City on Tuesday evening. This year's event holds special significance, coinciding with the 50th anniversary of the liberation of Hue City, 1975-2025. It also celebrates Hue officially becoming a centrally governed city. More to follow.
The opening event for Visit Vietnam Year Hue 2025 with the theme A River's Confession. It recreated the historical and cultural flow and development of the ancient capital. The program was grandly staged with over 800 professional artists, singers, actors, and international art troupes from China and South Korea. All of them created a colorful artistic feast.
I found the Hue performance very special, with an ancient look.
The performances are very grand. Hue tourism will be very bright.
The opening ceremony also allowed viewers to enjoy stories about other famous rivers and unique cultural features of each area in Vietnam.
We are putting all our efforts into organizing the Tourism Year Festival. Hue City's tourism and service industry will embrace this opportunity to the fullest to ensure socio-economic development, focusing on promoting the sector's potential.
The opening ceremony of Visit Vietnam Year Hue 2025 is part of the city's long-term strategy to develop its tourism. Throughout the festival, 75 major national and international events in Hue City promise to significantly boost tourism.
On Wednesday morning, the Hue City Hương River Bridge, Nguyễn Hoàng Bridge, a key traffic project across the Hương River, was officially opened to traffic on the 50th anniversary of Hue Liberation Day, March 26, 1975, March 26, 2025. Politburo member Trần Cẩm Tú, secretary of the party Central Committee, and other party and government leaders attended the ceremony. The project, costing over $96 million, features a special-grade steel arch bridge design. The 8-lane bridge is nearly 400 meters long and 43 meters wide, with a safety strip and a 3 meters wide sidewalk on both sides. 60 lanterns form an arch, a characteristic feature of Hue City. Nguyễn Hoàng Bridge is located on Ring Road 3, the main road connecting Hue City, Northwest and Southwest District. The project's completion is expected to be the catalyst for developing new urban areas. Around 40 households in the Old Quarter are to be resettled in Đông Anh district to make way for renovating the area east of Hoàn Kiếm Lake, Hanoi. The City People's Committee assigned the Department of Agriculture and Environment to research and propose how to apply the highest level of compensation and arrange resettlement in Đông Anh district. Đông Anh has a comprehensive traffic infrastructure plan, convenient connections, and full infrastructure facility, such as wind parks, schools, shopping centers, entertainment areas, etc. The Liêm Bridge connecting Đông Anh with the Tây Hồ area has been approved to start constructions on May the 19th, helping to shorten travel time into the inner city. In addition, the National Exhibitions and Fair Center, a national key project ranked in the top 10 globally, is also expected to be completed this July, opening up the potential for economic and tourism development and creating more jobs for local people. After a 2-week-long school closure, the 84 students of the Hanoi private primary schools for deaf and mute children finally returned to class on Wednesday. The school closure has deprived these children of their fundamental right to education, prompting parents to petition the school's governing body. The parents' effort and the Vietnam television report have ultimately reinstated their children's access to learning and care.
Over the past 2 weeks, parents and students at the Hanoi Private Primary School for Deaf and Mute Children have repeatedly come to the school, hoping the children can return to classes.
The older child is 14 years old, born deaf and mute, blind in one eye. The younger child is 10 years old and has learning difficulties.
I'm so bored at home. I want to go to school.
The Hanoi Private Primary School for Deaf and Mute Children is managed by the Hanoi Red Cross. In March of last year, the Red Cross announced the removal of the acting principal due to alleged incompetence and requested the school's seal and bank accounts be revoked. This led to the school being unable to operate and closing on March 5th.
Don't let it affect the children. The teachers here have done nothing wrong either.
The life skills training room, computer lab, and sewing classroom are empty. After parents repeatedly went directly to the Hanoi Red Cross and Vietnam television broadcast 2 investigative reports. The Hanoi Red Cross decided to appoint a new principal and reopen the school on Wednesday.
I'm very happy to hear this decision. Are you happy?
Yes.
Who do you want to meet?
Teacher Hien and Kang. Our school leaders commit to ensuring the children's right to education.
This school has 84 students with various disabilities. As a private school, they pay monthly tuition fees ranging from over $40 to $120. They can only develop their behavior, cognition, and vocational skills by having a place to learn. The school's reopening upholds the children's right to education and the rights of people with disabilities.
Coming up next in our World News, U.S. add dozens of entities to export restriction list. And Ukraine peace talks obtain positive results. The United States added dozens of entities to a trade block list on Tuesday. According to the U.S. Commerce Department, the action affects 80 entities from countries including China, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran. The department stated that these entities are accused of activities contrary to U.S. national security and foreign policies. The entities will now be unable to access U.S. technology and goods without the U.S. government's permissions. According to U.S. Under the Secretary of Commerce for Industry and Security, Jeffrey Kessler, the aim is to prevent U.S. technologies and goods from being misused for activities like high-performance computing, hypersonic missiles, and military aircraft training. Positive results from the three-day Russia-U.S. negotiations in Saudi Arabia are gradually emerging. The U.S. has reached separate agreements with Ukraine and Russia for safe navigation in the Black Sea and a ban on attacks on energy facilities.
Under the agreement, Russia and Ukraine have agreed to ensure safe navigation, eliminate the use of force, and prevent the use of commercial vessels for military purposes in the Black Sea. The two countries will establish appropriate control measures through inspections of such vessels. The Kremlin also released on Tuesday a comprehensive list of energy facilities that Russia and Ukraine are not allowed to attack under the US-brokered temporary ceasefire. The list includes oil refineries, oil and gas pipelines, nuclear power plants, substations, transformers, distribution systems and hydroelectric dams.
We are also in favor of considering ways to prevent damage to the energy infrastructure. This is not in our interests. As the President said, we are in favor of resuming the Black Sea Initiative in a form that is more acceptable to everyone.
Regarding the ceasefire implementation, Ukrainian President Zelensky said the ceasefire agreement will take effect immediately from March 25. In addition, Ukraine and the US have agreed to let a third party monitor some aspects of the future ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine.
We have agreed with the US that, in addition to the US, third parties can participate in monitoring, such as a European country or Turkey can participate in the sea situation, and maybe some Middle Eastern country in the energy sector.
The preliminary results achieved in Saudi Arabia are now being reported to the Russian and US presidents to establish the premise for the next rounds of negotiations.
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is conducting Europe's largest air defense exercise in the Netherlands. The 10-day exercise involves around 700 personnel from 15 NATO member states. This year, Finland and Sweden are participating for the first time since becoming organization members. The main objective of the exercise is to integrate and strengthen air defense systems across the European continent and test the organization's response to missiles and drone attacks.
And also can be integrated in the C2 system. You can have a beam up to 120.
The South Korean government announced that wind-driven wildfires that were among the country's worst ever were ravaging its southern regions, killing 18 people and injuring 19 others. Firefighters are struggling to control the rapidly spreading blaze. The fires broke out on March 21st in Sangcheong County, North Gyeongsang Province. Due to strong winds and dry weather, they spread to neighboring areas such as Uiseong, Andong, Cheongsang, and Yeongdok. Since the blaze began, the South Korean military has mobilized approximately 5,000 soldiers and 146 helicopters to support firefighting efforts. Fire has destroyed the Gyeongsang Temple in Uiseong, an ancient temple built in 681 during the Silla dynasty. Fortunately, the national treasures kept at the temple have been moved to a safe place. And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or our YouTube channel at youtube.com/VTV4go or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.